Hello, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining me once again here on Talkin Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today, courtesy of our friends across the pond at boxing247.com. What an exciting weekend of fighting we had. Some tremendous knockouts, some tremendous technical knockouts, and some great stories on Talkin Fight. Did you hear Lou Eisen describe Jack Dempsey? My goodness, what a fighter that guy must have been. He described him as, take a look at Mike Tyson, multiply that by 1,000,000, and you have got Jack Dempsey. He described the fight where he fought Jess Willard and beat him to a pulp. Anyway, let's start off the news. Speaking of beating, sadly, Hannah Rankin defeated Alejandra Aya over in Glasgow, retaining her WBA super welterweight belt, but poor old Alejandra ended up in the hospital after that fight, which was ended in the last round. I believe it was a 10-rounder. Took place at the OVO Hydro in Glasgow. And anyway, good news for the Scottish girl, Hannah Rankin, who's been on Talkin Fight quite a few times. And, I should say sad news for Aya, who ended up in the hospital, as I said, but she's okay. So she retains her record now at 12 wins, 6 by knockout, and retains that WBA and IBO 154-pound belt. Good for Hannah Rankin. Let's move along to Jamel Charlo, who fought against Brian Castano, and although he said he would win in the first round, he didn't quite win the first round, but he did win. And is up there as Fight of the Year contender. And it headlined a Premier Boxing Champions event over in California. So anyway, Jamel Charlo again showed his master of the rematch, unifying a WBC, WBA, IBF World Champion, picked up his WBO title with a dramatic 10th round knockout of Brian Castano. Basically, again came when Charlo, who's now 35, 1-1 with 18 knockouts, dropped Castano with a short left hook as he's fighting off the ropes with around a minute left in the 10th. Castano, who's 17, 1-2 with 12 knockouts, rose on unsteady legs and was allowed to continue, and Charlo jumped on him, landing a vicious left to the head and body that caused Castano to collapse, and referee Jenny Canto waved off the bout at 2 minutes and 33 seconds of the 10th round. Elsewhere on that particular card, something I was talking about last week, and what was supposed to be the toughest test of his career, Gervonta Davis again made a mockery of pre-fight expectations, stopping the previously undefeated Castillo Clayton via a second round stoppage in an IBF welterweight title eliminator in the Telecasco feature. After pushing Clayton back with jabs, Dennis, 24 years old, landed a sweeping right hand to the top of Clayton's head behind his ear that caused the Canadian to crumple on the canvas. Clayton is a former Olympian, known for his durability, tried to get up, but was too dizzy from the punch and fell back down again. He finally managed to get on his feet and beat the count, but stumbled back into the ropes, causing referee Ray Corona to mercifully wave off the fight at 2:49 of the second round. Speaking of great knockouts, Sonny Canto, who won the Knockout of the Week award here on Talkin Fight, Sonny Canto remained undefeated with a third-round stoppage over Justin Rolfe in their scheduled 6-round heavyweight bout in front of a packed crowd at the Parks Casino in Bensalem, Pennsylvania, which our own Tim Witherspoon was attending. It was a 7-bout card that took place on Friday night, and promoted by Johan Promotions, by the way. Anyway, so after, Canto decked Rolfe with a big left hook in round 3. Seconds later, there's another hard left hook from close quarters that sent Rolfe folding towards the canvas, and the fight was stopped by referee Eric Daly at 1 minute 38 seconds. Canto, who's 228 pounds out of Philadelphia, is now 10-0 with 8 knockouts. Rolfe, who's 254 pounds, big boy, out of Portland, Maine, is now 7-4-1. Also on that card, undefeated fighters Jordan Murphy and Antonio Dunton scrapped their way to hard-fought split in a super featherweight bout. Carlos Ramos stopped Jesus Guzman at the end of round 3. Michael Crane won a 4-round unanimous decision over Gerardo Martinez. And Cristo Burgos and Philip Davis battled to a spirited 4-round draw in a super lightweight contest. Another fight that evening, Kwedir Jenkins stopped Andre Heyman in the second round of their 4-round middleweight bout. So a couple of names there that we hadn't noticed before, but some good stuff out of Joe Hand and Philadelphia, great boxing city, and the home of Tim Witherspoon, and we'll hear more from them coming up in the near future, I'm sure. Elsewhere, across the pond, let's have a quick look here. In Manchester, England, the Mexican folklore hero Zorro was a master swordsman, but also famous for his cunning. Zorro is the Spanish word for fox, by the way, which he used to confound his adversaries before taking their wealth and distributing it to those in need. Well, his British boxing namesake, Ellis Zorro, who's now 14-0 with 6 knockouts, brought the myth to life in Manchester on Saturday night, artfully fencing his way through 3 consecutive battles and laying claim to a £40 grand prize, which he immediately committed towards funding speech therapy for his young daughter. He said, I've got an autistic daughter at home who needs speech therapy, so I'm probably going to use most of that money on that. He said post-fight when asked what his intentions were for the prize money. And with a new boxer multi-fight contract to his name, Zorro also knows what he's aiming for next in the ring. I want to start fighting for titles, English or British. I know Dion Juma and Mikhail Lual are meant to be fighting for the British title. I'll take that winner. But I'm just happy to be on Skype and platform and going forward. He said he's looking to see, he's looking to maybe take on Jamie Smith in the commanding performance. He's extended his professional record. And I see. We're talking about Jay Farrell. In the other series, Elvis says the fight against Ricky Reeves is the toughest fight of the night. And this is, as you know, it's a tournament that goes on. A few rounds per fight, but nonetheless, it's a tournament. It's a great tournament the boxer puts on, and Zorro has won that tournament. And if you go on the full story, please go to boxing247.com. There, all the details are outlined. Let's move on to Inglewood, California, where Sergey Kovalev and Tervel Puvlev went toe-to-toe at the Kia Forum, a Triller event. So there was boxing and music. In the ring, though, we'll focus in on the big wins. 3-time light heavyweight world champ Sergey Crusher Kovalev, 2-time heavyweight world title challenger Kubrat the Cobra Puvlev, and the Vargas brothers, Fernando Vargas, Amanda Vargas, and debuting professionally Emiliano Vargas, all of whom are guided by their father trainer, 3-time junior middleweight world champ Fernando Vargas Sr. And in the main event, fighting his first fight as a cruiserweight and coming off 31-month layoff, Kovalev won a dominant 10-round unanimous decision over the previously undefeated Puvlev, who's now 16-1. In the co-featured heavyweight bout, the brother of Tervel, Kubrat the Cobra Puvlev, also won a unanimous decision over Southpaw Jerry the Slugger Forrest. Let's have a quick look on, forget some more. Yes, we do have more results. Pro debuting Emiliano, the General Vargas, as I said, making his pro debut. The 18-year-old amateur standout lived up to his billing, using fast vicious left hands to knock down and stop Mark Salgado. You know, all these names might sound familiar because I told you all about them last week. But in the huge upset of the evening, super welterweight Jermaine McDonald is now 7-5 with 3 knockouts because he stopped Ivan Holyfield, Evander Holyfield's son, 9-1 now, 6 knockouts in the second round of their fight. A huge right hand from McDonald to the jaw would drop the son of boxing legend Evander Holyfield as referee Raul Caiz Jr. called a halt to the fight as the count reached 8. Said McDonald, my trainer told me to throw that punch when I could and he would go down. I knew he wasn't getting up. He was badly hurt. I'm actually speechless. I'm so happy. Elsewhere on the card, super welterweight Fernando Vargas Jr. is now 6-0 with 6 knockouts. Stayed undefeated with a resounding first-round knockout of Terence Jamon, who's now 3-0, 3-1 with 1 knockout. Stated Vargas Jr., I listened to my dad, who said to go for the body first. It's one fight, and now it's on to the next one. I did what I need to do against a tough fighter. Open up the event, as I said, 21-year-old Amado El Malvado Vargas, 4-0, 2 knockouts, stayed perfect, showcasing his world-class skills toward a 4-round unanimous decision in the junior lightweight division over Anel Dudo, who's now 4-1. All 3 judges scored the bout 39-36 for Vargas. My dad told me to keep boxing and be smart. I'm very happy with my performance. I thought I won every round, said Vargas. There you go, some good news out of California. Also on the West Coast, Colin Walsh went up against Luis Garcia. at the Quiet Cannon Country Club in Montebello. Thursday night over in Los Angeles, fast rising star King Callum Walsh, now 3-0 with 3 knockouts, continued his torrid start to his professional career with a first round knockout of Luis Garcia, 3-1, in their scheduled 6-rounder as a super welterweight clash, by the way. Promoted by Tom Loeffler's 360 Promotions and broadcast on the UFC Fight Pass. It also saw super lightweight Tito Mercado, 6-0, 6 knockouts, stayed perfect in his short career as a 20-year-old Pomano, California resident, stopped Jose Zaragoza, who's now 8-5-1 in the second round. In their featherweight clash, Omar Trinidad, 8-1, 6 knockouts, stopped Andrew Strode for 6-2 at 110 of the third round of their fight. Cruiserweight Marco Deckman, 9-1, 7 knockouts, won a 6-round unanimous decision over Jasper Mercado, who's 4-3-2. In an outstanding 6-round women's junior lightweight clash, Chelsea Anderson, who's 5-1, stopped Jessica Juarez, who's now 3-2 with 1 knockout. In the final stanza, Juarez started very strong, but Anderson was able to turn the tide and land big punches as the fight went on. In the final round, the ring doctor stopped the fight due to a cut on Juarez's badly swollen eye. Manny Pacquiao Jr. won his second amateur bout, aggressively battering Jonathan Barajas to earn a 3-round decision. In the super lightweight division, David Romero, 2-0, won a 4-round unanimous decision over debuting Fernando Gaitan. Rounding out the card off TV, Jaril Kuchmanov, who's now 4-0 with 2 knockouts, won a 4-round decision over Barcelo Martirez in a featherweight bout. And in the lightweight division, 19-year-old Ruben Islas, 5-0, defeated Charles Clark over 4 rounds. Good stuff. Elsewhere in California, at the Toyota Arena in Ontario, we saw Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, who's now 44-0 with 30 knockouts, out of Mexico, defeat interim world champion Dominic Bozel, who fights out of Freiburg, Germany. That was via knockout at the 133 marker of the 4th round of their scheduled 12-round fight. That's in the heavyweight division, by the way. So we look forward to hearing more from Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez in the heavyweight division. Good stuff. He said, "I feel great about my performance. As I said, I would put on a spectacular show. I got the victory via knockout. I was expecting the best. We were expecting heavy shots. I trained. I trained way too hard for this position. No one will take it from me. I used my distance more and I attacked the body more. I know my last fight was tough. I was really prepared for this one. I ate more tacos for this fight. I feel that my natural weight." I've never heard anyone say that. "Everyone knows I want Bivol. He needs to stop running and sign the contract. I'm coming for you and that belt. I deserve that fight. I think I can beat him since I'm bigger, stronger, and smarter." Fair enough. Some good words out of Zurdo Ramirez. Yes, back in England, Wasserman Boxing's launch on Channel 5 produced some moments to live long in the memory, but is a night to remember for Denzel Bentley. Linus Udufia walked away empty-handed on the night, but will be guaranteed to have raised his stock after closely contested split decision loss. For the British middleweight title fight, it was Udofia going up against Bentley. Bentley won via split decision and wins the British middleweight title. Also on that night, it was a late cancellation, so Josh Ely could not go up against Bernosi. Harlem Eubank won by stoppage in round 2 over Sean Dodd in the super lightweight division. Brad Pauls went toe-to-toe against Ryan Kelly and won in the British middleweight title eliminator by split decision. Constantine Urso went up against Barria Lopez in the welterweight division, and Urso won via points. Razor Ali went up against Kavichka Gilashvili, and Razor Ali won by points. Harvey Horn up against Alejandro Torres in the flyweight division, and they went 10 rounds, and Harvey Horn won via points. Katerina Tanders went toe-to-toe against Teresa Dervikova in the super lightweight division, 6 rounds, and Katerina Tanders won via points. Dan Morley went up against Ivan Nekchuk in the welterweight division, and Dan Morley won
by stoppage in round 4. So there's some results of as I said, London, England, a fight that took place at Indigo at the O2 Arena in Greenwich. A few miles away, over in Istanbul, Turkey. A few names I'm going to have difficulty with, so bear with me. 2 UBO titles were at stake for 4 undefeated fighters squared off on Friday night, May 13th in Istanbul, Turkey. In a clash of highly touted up-and-comers, Turkey's Emre Karakipa passed his biggest test to date when he defeated Jamel Guzmanov from Ukraine by unanimous decision to win the vacant UBO European light heavyweight title. After a close and competitive fight, judges both scored the fight 96-94, while another judge scored it slightly wider, 96-93. So he won on points and improved his record to 5-0. In a fight for the vacant UBO International Cruiserweight title, heavy-handed Metin Torink was faced with a late substitute in Ulmar Mamedov from Azerbaijan, and Torink is now 7-0. He didn't let the change deter him as he overwhelmed the otherwise game Mamedov, who didn't come out for round 3 and drops now to 3-1 with 3 knockouts. The fight for the vacant UBO female World Super Welterweight title between current UBO European champion Dilara Yukal and Happy Duda from Tanzania was scrapped when the African failed to get her visa for Turkey. All right, moving along here to Germany. Espelkamp is where this fight took place for the vacant UBO International Heavyweight title. Rizza Abaya is the new UBO International Heavyweight Champion after winning the vacant title on Saturday night in his hometown, as I said, of Espelkamp, Germany. Abaya dominated co-challenger Georgios Bitsenis, flooring his countrymen with body shots in both round 1 and 2. After the second knockdown, the towel came in to save Bitsenis from further punishment, much to the delight of the spectators at the Burger House. With the victory, Abaya, also the reigning national champ in Germany, took his professional record to 8-0 with 8 knockouts. Well, Bitsenis, having won 7 of his last 8, falls to 7-7. The fight was co-featured attraction show promoted by Christian Pollock, who also boxed on the card and emerged victorious from the main event. Across the pond, over at Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino in New York, USA, Wilfredo Flores conquered the WBA Federcentro lightweight title by defeating Victor Betancourt Jr. by unanimous decision, and that took place on Friday night. The Puerto Rican got cards of 98-92, 97-93, and 99-91 to take a big win over the Mexican and capture the vacant regional crown of the Pioneer organization. El Bravo Vega, as the Puerto Rico boxing is nicknamed, showed a great dominance over Betancourt and got a victory that allows him to continue moving up his career. Flores now remains undefeated with 10 wins and 1 draw, in addition to 5 knockouts. Betancourt improved his record, shall we say, to 27 wins, 5 losses, and 14 knockouts. At the Robert Tree Hotel in Newark, New Jersey. Main event saw in the bantamweight division they were fighting for the WBA NABA Gold Bantamweight Championship. Here we saw Emmanuel Salsavito Rodriguez, 11-0, 6 knockouts, fighting out of Newark, New Jersey. He won by a technical knockout over Juan Gabriel Medina, who's now 14-10. He fights out Dominican Republic. The co-main event for the WBA Federcentro Flyweight Championship, we saw Andy Dominguez, 7-0, out of Bronx, New York. He won the 3rd round over with a technical knockout over Edwin Reyes, who's now 8-3. He fights out of Madison, Tennessee, by the way, and winning that championship belt. So in the super welterweight fight, we saw Brian Cabell, 13-0 of New York, win by TKO over Gerald Charlo, who's now 10-3 with 5 knockouts, fighting out of Pittsburgh. Another super featherweight fight, we saw Justin Maisonet, who's now 4-0 out of Alta Vega, Puerto Rico, wins by looks like a medical decision over John Leonardo out of New Jersey in the super welterweight division, 6-rounder. Robert Terry went up against Evinci Dixon, who's now 10-30-2, by the way, fighting out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And he won by unanimous decision. Robert Terry, that is. Welterweight, 4-rounder, Dave Roman Curiel, 401-1, out of Patterson, New Jersey, won by unanimous decision over Margarito Hernandez, fighting out of Washington State. In the flyweight division, 4-rounder, Anthony Johns, won by a third-round knockout over Gilberto Duran. Super bantamweight division, 4-rounder, Jose Neves, out of Woodbridge, New Jersey, won in the first round with a knockout over David Ashley. In the super middleweight division, we saw Gian Giregi out of Flushing, New York, won by technical knockout over Derek Land out of Philadelphia. And in the super welterweight 4-round division, 4-round contest in the super welterweight division, Kashad Elliott, who's now 2-0, of Plainfield, New Jersey, won by technical knockout over Trey Martin, now 3-6-2. He's fighting out of Columbia, Missouri. Great fights from, looks like, the East Coast of America. And good to see Newark and New Jersey hosting a decent fight. Good for them. Good stuff. All right, let's move along here to the Francisco Lezzi versus Valeriano Mazzala contest. That took place in Corato, Italy. Also on Saturday night, former IBF Youth World Champion Francisco Lezzi scored his third straight victory and won the vacant UBO Intercontinental Super welterweight title on Saturday night. Headlining an outdoor show in Corato, Italy, Lezzi, who's 32 years old, faced a late substitute in Valerio Mazzala as an original opponent. Mirko Di Calantonio pulled out on short notice, but it was still very much a competitive and entertaining fight. Mazzolo had not just come off for a paycheck, and he tried his best to make an impact from the start, but it was experiencing cleaner punches of Lezzi which decided the fight. The judges all scored the fight 77-75 for Lezzi, a clear indication that it was close and well matched. Lezzi, who won the IBF World title back in 2015, had a tough run with mixed results in 2016-2021, often going on the road and mostly losing decisions to some of the best in Europe. But he's now dedicated himself to another run as a champion and improved his professional record to a deceiving 16-21-2 record with 3 knockouts. While Mazzulli is 33 years of age, coming off a victory in April, drops down to 8-2 with 3 knockouts of his own. Let's see, fighting in Italy. If we jump back across the pond, we'll see that the Creator Clash event, a bunch of YouTubers going at it, drew themselves 100,000 fans online, and looks like a pretty good event. As we announced quite a while ago, the YouTubers all put all the money towards a good. Let's see, the amount raised. Doesn't say how much was raised. Anyway, it's all going towards the American Heart Association, the Alzheimer's Association, and the Healing Horse Therapy Center. So with 100,000 tickets sold online, looks like iDubbbz himself good night of entertainment down the Youngling Center in Tampa, Florida. And that money's going to 3 great causes. Good job, iDubbbz. Joshua Buatsi and Craig Richards coming up shortly at the O2 Arena. And here's something that Joshua Buatsi had to say. He wants to leave no doubt that he's leading light heavyweight in the country when he faces South London rival Craig Richards in a huge clash. The O2 coming up this Saturday, May 21st, shown live on DAZN. Buatsi is 15-0 with 13 knockouts. Finally gets his hand on one of his fellow high-flying domestic rivals, 175 pounds, with Richards hunting down the second world title shot after rising to the occasion in a tight loss to Dimitri Bivol last May in Manchester. Richard performs the Gates of WBA champion, looks more impressive after Bivol produced a masterclass to defeat Mexican pound-for-pound king Canelo Alvarez earlier this month. And the Crystal Palace man has been bullish in the build-up, saying that he is Buatsi's first real test in the paid ranks. The Olympic bronze medal man has adopted the mantra, just business, in and out of the ring, really clinical way goes about his work. And while his local bragging rights up for grabs against Richards, Buatsi knows that victory would lay the foundation for both claim the #1 spot in the country and underline the need for a world title shot to be next. I'm the best in the country, said Buatsi. The truth is, though, we haven't fought each other. Spider is the last light heavyweight in Britain that I'm boxing. So from there, I can make a point of it. Everyone can say that they're the best until someone gets a world title shot. Separate themselves, then everyone has a point to make. And we're the and we are the first to really fight. He is saying I haven't proved myself, but I don't think that's true. We were both amateurs. He fought, I fought. We entered the same tournaments, and I went on, and that's what I did. So he cannot say that I've had an easier route just because I went to the Olympics and did well. I killed myself for that medal, gave everything for it. So the narrative I've said, and he said it too, I just don't think it was true. I think I came, I think I had that 50-50 fight against Richards, Bluntniks. A few of the governing bodies had him in their top 5. I didn't rank him, they ranked him. He was a very good opponent. I stopped him. His management team said they rated me from taking that fight because of all the other lightweights in the country didn't want to fight him. And we didn't think twice. Craig had a good scrap with Bivol, that people have forgotten about it. I beat Bluntniks, and people have forgotten about that too. That's just what happens. We're here now. There wasn't a lot of options out there. There's a fight being pushed, and I said, well, cool, let's take it. It's a good fight. He's a good opponent. It's in London. I have the same mindset. I'll handle business as usual. I'm unbeaten. That means nothing to me. I haven't got time to listen to the masses. He's in front of me, and that's all that matters. No matter who it was, 1 or 2, just the fight that's happening, and that's what's in front of me. We're not talking about it. We're not making assumptions. We're not predicting. We know that May 21st, and this is the guy I've got to get. So if you want to read more about Buatsi, he's got a few more things to say. Go to boxing247.com. And there are a few tickets available left for that fight over on StubHub. As I said, taking place at the O2 Arena in London, England, May 21st. Taking place at the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool on 17th of June. Nathan Gorman and Thomas Salek. Nathan Gorman, who's 18-1 with 12 knockouts, returns to the bright lights to headline an action-packed night of fight free-to-air boxing on June 17th at the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool, run by Wasserman Boxing, live on Channel 5 in association with William Hill, Newman, and Infinitum Entertainment. The hard-hitting heavyweight will face off against a confident Czech, Thomas Salek, who's 17-3 with 13 knockouts, fresh from defending his national heavyweight title and looking to get into the firefight in a guaranteed earthshaker. It's been over a year since Gorman last graced the ring, and the British power puncher will be looking to pick up where he left off with a 3rd straight win since his first career loss in 2019. A tremendous response since then. He'll be looking to come back with a bang, having missed the previous card due to illness. I'm coming there to throw the kitchen sink at him and put on a really good display, said Gorman. I was due to fight at the Savannah Marshall show, but unfortunately I came down with a bad illness. I believe things happen for a reason, and now I'm looking for a position to put on a good show on Channel 5. I'm just really looking forward to it. Standing in the way of him, of a dream return, will be 23-year-old Salek, who's coming to flex his greater knockout record on Gorman's home turf. There'll be an opportunity for Salek to right the wrongs from his previous experience in the United Kingdom. He'll be insisting he puts on a spectacle to prove he has progressed. It's a big opportunity for me, he said. This will be my second fight in the United Kingdom, and I truly want to show them I'm much stronger physically, but mostly much stronger mentally when we come back to the Czech Republic with Gorman's scalp. Well, fans can also look forward to an electric British super flyweight title eliminated between 2 physically imposing fighters when the chosen one, Marcel Brathwaite, who's 12-3, will be aiming to get his fellow Liverpool faithful onside as he looks to get the better of the experienced former WBA Continental Bantamweight champion, Thomas Isomba. The M&S Bank Arena will be rocking when Brathwaite, the newly crowned WBC International Silver Super Flyweight champ, arrives to seize the spotlight and move forward, ticking off more on his boxing bucket list. It's a good fight, perfect fight for my career. I feel like a stepping stone for me to get the British title. This title is one of my ambitions. I just need to put everything into preparation to make sure I get there, which I will, said Brathwaite. Fair enough. Additional information on boxing247.com, such as Team TV fighter Chloe Watson and Patty Lacey, Macy Nutty Cartwright, and heavyweight magic Matty Harris, all showcased in that article. As I say, written by good friends over boxing247.com. But I've run out of time. Thank you for joining me here on Talk and Fight for Boxing News today. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Go check out Lou Eisen's commentary on Jack Dempsey. And we'll see you later on at 4 p.m. with Mike Orr and Cedric Ben for Knuckle. Thank you for joining me. See you later.